Well, hello and welcome. I'm Sue Britz,
And I'm Tina Lokkbakk. Welcome to Retired.
the podcast where we talk about what life is like when we put on new tread, new wheels that move us to our next adventure.
So you were just on an adventure, which sparked today's topic for me, Sue.
I guess
Where was
so.
your adventure?
I went to Kansas City, Missouri. And
Been there, by the way.
you have?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
My outlaws were from there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
I've been there too, just, passing through before, but I hadn't been there for generations, I guess. But,
And?
so we arrived here. First of all, I'll say this. All of us were so lucky to have had no issues or problems in the airports. I think all the TSA stuff and the lines were all like on East Coast or central
Or
part of the-
ginormous, airports.
well, not
Yeah.
even. I mean, LA
Oh.
wasn't an issue. I mean,
Oh.
in Missouri, well, and this is the thing. Some of the airports in the country don't have TSA. They are run by private.
What?
Well, it's they've been authorized by TSA, but they are run independently. Or contracted, or however you want to.
Oh.
So they didn't have issues. Those people were getting paid, and that wasn't the issue. And then we also we thought that maybe there were fewer people traveling because of the threat of all these lines and people canceling their spring break stuff. I mean, this is all happening during different spring breaks. Everyone's got different
True.
spring break time. But our flights were all fine on the way back. Mine was delayed, and I went into the airport. Actually, I had gone in early because, you're supposed to go in early. And went right up to the desk there, and I got the last ticket they diverted me. Instead of going through Las Vegas like I had on the way out, I came back through Denver. And so I went from Missouri to Denver to Sacramento. And it's a straight line. It's right across, almost on the same line of latitude. So made a lot more sense. I got home actually before the time that I was assigned to have done. So that worked out really well.
Wow.
Got the last seat, which was great.
Luck out.
It was weird because, you're also traveling in the last boarding group.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care normally where I sit so much as if you're trying to make a connection, you do need to sit towards the front of the airplane generally. If you're carrying a carry-on and the plane is full, which they all were, then those overheads fill up real quickly, and you never can count on people following the rules of you're supposed to put it above where your seat is and not fill up the whole front, because if you're towards the front and they're all filled, then you have to put your suitcase in the back, and then you have to wait for everyone to get off and then go back and get your suitcase, all that stuff. But fortunately, that worked for me as well. So I didn't have to check a bag, and I was like in the last group each time, like one of the last 3 people on the airplane, and there was still a spot for me towards the front, before my seat, I should say, which was great, the way it's supposed to be. It worked the way it was supposed to work.
I never had thought about doing it any other way. I didn't realize people did it any other way. I always have put the suitcase above me.
Well, that's
of
the
course.
etiquette. That's the etiquette, and that's
I didn't even know people didn't. I didn't know people didn't follow
When's the
that
last time
etiquette.
you flew? I mean, because
All the time, but I just don't pay attention. And I always sit in the back.
in the last years, people have gotten crazy with this, and they get
Oh.
on board and they pop that in there right away. More recently, people have started shaming people. That's not your seat. Why are you putting it there? And
Oh.
they're trying to change back the culture to how it used to be, where that's the etiquette. It's an unspoken rule that you're supposed to put your carry-on over your head or thereabouts. I mean, it could be on the opposite side or whatever. Doesn't matter, but it should be where your seat allocation is, because someone else is not going to be able to get their bag packed then.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, my friend, I flew him out on a Thursday evening at Reno, but I thought I would check in and see what the TSA situation was since it's 5 miles up the road. There's no one parked. I stop in front of Southwest. I walk into the person manning the desk with no line and said, tell me about your TSA situation. Should we come early? They laughed at me and they said, when are you leaving? I said, Thursday evening. And they said, oh, it might take you less than 5 minutes. So you're right. It doesn't impact all airports, but I just assumed the bigger, the more impacted it would be. But I love this whole private concept,
Well,
that there's this private concept, private company. Like, guess that's what we have to resort to now.
well, I think that however it works out, it just, when someone does a job, you need to pay them, and you don't hold
Oh,
that hostage
there's no
as
withholding,
you don't.
collateral, or bargaining.
Yeah, you don't hold someone's job hostage. And all of us travelers, and all the people traveling for fun and family, or for a family emergency, but business folks are traveling as well, and to hold the U.S. hostage for political means is ridiculous. So
And all I think about is the bank giving them leeway on the mortgages that they have to, pay each month? Is the bank giving them leeway for their car payment? Can they eat? I'm
generally,
really
no.
concerned. I mean, I'm really concerned. And I hadn't known anyone that was really impacted, but during the Arnold Schwarzenegger period, when I worked at high school, I had a friend whose daughter became an attorney. She was like a DA or something that worked with the government. And she was the first person I learned who was impacted. But was she really? No, she had very wealthy parents who could take care of her. So there wasn't a problem. But all I can think about is the TSA workers are not well paid, So even if they were great with money and their finances, it's still going to be pretty darn tough,
Yeah, when
even
you
just with gas prices.
yeah, paycheck to paycheck, and if you got family, and yeah, it's
It's a big
reality.
deal. It's a really big deal. And
And
it hurts. It just doesn't seem sensical to me.
well, and it's just for political, hostage taking. It's
Stubbornness.
basically, and
Yeah.
it's a way to try to maneuver people, and it is unconscionable.
We
It's
have
wrong.
to figure a different way. So back to weddings, Sue. I thought it would be interesting to ask, and if you have nothing to say about it, I have a lot to say. But I remember during my 20s, it was like wedding season. And now that we are on this side of retirement, how it's slowed down. At least right now I'm in this interim because my kids aren't old. I don't have grandkids. No one's getting married yet, thank God. And so I want to know how you felt about going. When was the last time, other than your own, have you attended a wedding?
You know,
Or
it's
maybe
been
you have been attending.
it's been a while. You're right. I mean, this thing of there's seasons of our life. So when it's our own life, and people are, in their when back in our day, 20s, or maybe just 20, um, and that was the thing. And I think a lot of people, it's now 30 is the new 20 in regards to weddings. Although people still get married, obviously, in the 20s. It's just uh, I think the attitude towards wedding or being married is different. I don't think that people have to feel they have to be married anymore. It's a more
Mm.
secular culture that we live in, and it's not as much an issue. But yeah, then you hit the age where you've got children that are old enough to get married, and then it happens again, and it's a different version of it because maybe like me, if you paid for your own wedding back in
Mm-hmm.
the day,
And you
and
do,
then
yeah.
you
Oh.
have to pay for your kid's wedding. Now it's funny how that works. It's like we were independent, and we had the opportunity and we worked hard. We were independent and we worked hard, and we paid for our own weddings or honeymoons and stuff. And now we're the generation that do that for our kids. We pay for their weddings, and um, I think that also the other
I
layer
think,
of weddings being so darn expensive, and yet people are also choosing not to have expensive weddings. So it depends on. There's a lot more choice nowadays than there
yes, a
was.
lot more thinking,
Yeah.
a lot more, how should I say this? A lot more independent thinking and not the do the thing that we're supposed to do and follow the protocol. I think there's more thought around that.
There's a
True.
lot of tradition whenever you talk about something like a social construct like wedding and the traditions that go around it, who pays and how things are supposed to happen during the service or the reception and all that. There's a lot of thought about whether to embrace that tradition. If they find it
Hmm.
valuable and meaningful, then you embrace it. And if not, then you can exclude that. There's also families look very different than they did when we were young people, and families, you've got to figure out how to make this group work that's all going to join together and be there for a wedding.
So in your situation, how was it over the top? Are they older? Were they younger?
The
Uh,
meaning, the one that I went to, just
mhm.
okay. Oh, this was my nephew's wedding. And he and his now wife were have been together for a while. They purchased a house before they got married, and and did all that. So um, it was a very nice wedding. They went home. They live in a different state. And they went home to her hometown,
Oh,
and so it kind of made sense because she's got a lot of family that's there and in the area, and there's a lot fewer of us. Our family, my brother and his family. There's not a whole lot of us, and and we're spread out. So that was one thing. It was a very nice wedding. It was a more traditional in the sense that it wasn't a big
white
what
dress,
there wasn't a church wedding,
church. Oh,
but there was the roommate of the groom is in fact a preacher, and so that worked out. But it wasn't a religious ceremony. It was more secular and inclusive. And it was on the setting, though. So they had this house. It's a venue house, and a beautiful yard with a gazebo, and they did the ceremony there. We're sitting out. We were able to sit outside. It was lovely. The
nice.
weather was a little cool, but a little bit of wind, but really beautiful. It was a perfect weather. Actually, it wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold. It was just right. And the neat thing about this venue is they did have a backup. You could go to a chapel and do it there. So
Mm,
so that worked out. Very beautiful and traditional in the sense of, we got the wedding, we got the white wedding dress, the bridesmaids, the grooms and tuxes, and the chairs are all white, and people were asked to dress up, and then afterwards there was a little reception as they got themselves ready for the reception, or it's like a pre-reception for the reception, and then there was the reception, and a DJ dude, and the whole thing. People sitting at tables, and it was all very nice, very nicely done.
formal dinner, formal lunch.
It was a buffet dinner, and that works out because then people can choose what they want to eat or not.
I like that without having to pre-decide and
Right,
yeah.
right, right.
Oh, that's good. So overall, how was the experience going back into a wedding scene that wasn't your own?
Oh, it was delightful because it was not mine. There was no pressure, no nothing. And you just go and be a nice and enjoy being a guest, which is what you hope to do when you are hosting an event. You want your guests to feel relaxed and
Comfortable.
enjoyable, enjoy the time. It shouldn't. Yeah, it was delightful. It was delightful.
And the people at your table, how is that?
That was my family.
So, right? And that's the difference. Yeah. In a good way because then you know people because I think that's what I wanted to talk to you about that. So I'm going back to the wedding season and there was a time when my former husband and I were invited to everybody's weddings and they weren't people that we really actually knew very well. And I really did not enjoy myself. I kind of dreaded it because you didn't know anybody else there. I hated being stuck at a table with random people. Like I didn't find it enjoyable because no one ever talks about anything deep. Or you sit there in silence cuz no
Yeah.
one speaks. And then it's this dreadful 2-hour time where you're stuck staring at these people you don't know. And you might get a great meal out of it, but then you're just so grateful that you're there with your husband or whoever at that time that you could have some sort of a conversation. But I never really enjoyed it. And then my
You're not a
former
chit
husband
chatter
was not
then.
a dancer. No, I hate it. Let's get to the jugular. Like, what is the meaning of life? That's if I had been at a table where people could talk about the deep and honest things, but not like, so what do you do?
Well,
You
you have
know?
to
And
start
some people,
somewhere.
yeah, but
Where are you from? What do you do? I mean, those are the
and it's
basics.
fine. I know. And maybe it's because I went to so many of those weddings that it was just like, I almost wanted to have a pre printed card and just throw it out on the table. I didn't even want to waste the energy to get it out. It doesn't really matter. I'll never see them again.
Is
Let's
that
talk
really
about
how
something deep.
is that really how you felt then, or was this
Yes.
on reflection what you're
Yes.
feeling
I
now?
hated going. I dreaded
Oh,
going. I hated
interesting.
baby showers that I was invited to with people I didn't know very well. I was invited to many things and I always felt this obligation to go and I did not enjoy it. Now, when you know the people really well, like the one wedding I should have gone to was you. However, it didn't work out, but that would have been okay because I know you really well. And so I know the people that you would be inviting, and I would have enjoyed sitting with those people. It's the not knowing the people. And that's why I think you had fun because you were with family and people you knew.
Well, and it was interesting because you're it's always going to be fun when your family is what who you see all the time. Maybe that would be not the same thing, although you're also, you know each other and do that. But we don't see each other. We're all live in different places, and
Right.
so and there wasn't a whole lot. I mean, there was a one table and nine people at the table, and that was our family, and everyone else was
Oh, that's
except the
nice.
bridal party. Everyone else was from her family or from the couple's friendships, and like you're saying, where their workplaces and friendships and stuff. So, but the neat flow of the evening though is also you start with the people at your table, and then as the evening goes on, you get up and you walk around and you start interacting with people. I mean, it's your choice to sit there and do nothing or to go interact. And so for people who don't like small talk, it is interesting just to figure out how to do that. So for example, at this one, I at some point I got up and you can't just keep sitting and get up and there's my other nephew, the brother of the groom, and I just walk up to his group. It's a bunch of young people, and I just stand next to him and then um, listen. And
Oh,
I'm not
I like the
shy. And then
listening.
they go, oh, so they see, and they're all good people because these are his people, right?
Right.
And so oh hi, come on in. They didn't like diss you because
Ostracize you.
yeah, I'm
Right.
an old lady. I don't look old. Like to think I don't look too old,
Older.
but I'm an old
No.
lady coming up to this group of young
The more
people, and
mature lady.
well, I'm an old lady coming up to this
More
group of young
mature.
people, and to just also hear what they're talking about, their connections and stuff, and then they actually, they include me, so that was neat, and then I would go to the next group and do the same thing, and because there are a lot of young people there, and it's. But you were also saying something about dancing. Dancing is a whole nother another thing. Um, our generation, my sister-in-law and I were talking about it. A lot of people didn't dance, and like in high school,
Oh,
there were dances or were kind of different. I mean, people weren't into like the full on. I don't know. I don't remember a lot of dancing in our family and the culture around us. They would have dances and people would stand. I remember going like what they would consider a sock dance or whatever at the gym, and people would stand around, listen to music, and wait for someone to start dancing. And it's that kind of generation. It wasn't like like our parents' generation where they would
dance, dance.
the man would ask the woman and take her out, and they would have it would be not a freestyle dance, but it was a dance that was to be performed, and you would block dance or waltz or whatever it is that everyone was doing. Our generation didn't do that, and so if you practice that all your life not having danced, then you do get people like my brother didn't dance with his wife. I mean, she got out there and danced. She got her
Oh,
the fellow mother, the mother-in-law, and she danced. And I mean, granted, she's got new knees too, so she was happy to get out there and use her new knees and just have fun. And it was a safe environment, and that's a nice thing about it too. When it's a wedding, you would hope that it's a safe environment. It's a
yes.
bunch of people who know each other or know. the people that are getting married, and that's why these are their people they wanted there. So it should be an open invitation to do things, take a risk and dance.
I thought about, I think probably, I don't know about you, should be the same. We're 6 years apart, but I would say during the wedding season, women will often go out. You just kind of go in as a big blob and you go out and dance. So you don't have to wait to be asked or, that's where I would say the biggest change was. It's just women in general will bond with each other because they're ready to go out and dance. Men don't. They don't go out in a cluster and dance. But
Well, that's
did
not
that
quite
happen there?
true. Yeah, so these
Really?
young people, they're in their mid to late 30s. They're the groom's friends. The guys just got all out. They're all gamers.
Nice.
And some of them hadn't
Oh,
even,
that's cute.
they all know each other through gaming virtually. Some of them, there was one person there they had never met in person, but they knew they were friends. And they all got in their
Wow.
circle with their partner or no partner. Everyone was dancing in these circles.
That's nice.
And so that was interesting. And the music, of course, is always interesting. It was very retro, very us, but they had this dong 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 dong, electric thing, this industrial thing under throb underneath it that was kind of weird. It kind of destroyed the music, but anyhow, they had lighting and stuff. So it was, I guess the DJ was one of their people too, and um, it was, it was funny. And then as the evening went on, um, it wasn't like a packed dance floor. There weren't a lot of people dancing at one time, like a big, throb of people. But at some point, where after sitting, all right, my younger sister's like, oh, let's dance or stand around and just move to the music. And so, okay, silly me, the clown that I am, and our family,
Hmm.
we have clowns. I did the Elaine. So, and
Oh, I don't know what the Elaine
and the
is.
Elaine, come on now. And all the young
Oh.
people don't know the Elaine, which makes it even more funny because it's ridiculous. Um, you know, and they talked about this. The bride and groom talked about how they appreciate their humor and the silliness and the playfulness that they share. And so, does run through our family. We do get to be silly. And the Elaine, if you ever watched Seinfeld, remember Elaine?
Yes.
She went to a dance and she's dancing and she thinks she's the best dancer and she is just ridiculous. Ridiculous. Julie
I've got to
Louis
Google it as
Dreyfus.
soon
Yeah.
as we get off.
Julie
Yeah.
Louis Dreyfus, hilarious. And they still even today have Elaine
The Elaine.
dance offs and let people dress like her and do the Elaine. And so I was doing that, and people are like, young people are like, "What the heck?" But no one was looking or staring. No one cared. My niece, my sister's little youngest daughter, she did grab video of that and made a TikTok thing that was kind
Of
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 hilarious.
you
So,
and the Elaine.
and the Elaine, yeah,
Are you going to send this to me?
I will send it to you, but you have to promise
Thank
not to
you.
put it anywhere because she did
I
not put it on
promise.
air. Yeah. So yeah,
I promise.
I don't need to have that out there.
Yeah, I promise.
The Elaine.
The Elaine. So overall, good experience. Weddings, that wedding anyway, was a nice experience.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do you look forward to your ever getting married if she chooses?
For my own daughter, maybe for your daughters. I don't know. I don't know that my daughter will ever get married, and I'm totally fine with that. I think I raised her to know that she has the choice to do the things in
Yes.
life that she wants. If you decide to have a child,
Yes.
if you decide to get married,
Yes.
it's
I
not
love it.
when and not saying imposing my oh I'd love to have da da da. No, it's not my life. It's her life to do. And it's fine. People follow the tradition of all that, or if you really, really, really want to be a grandma or whatever. I understand just saying that you want to be a grandma, but putting pressure on young people, especially women, I would say, to impose on a woman choices that society is already pushing,
Hmm.
and and then on top your own family, the people you love most, maybe imposing that, and that's not your direction necessarily. If it is, it's yours to make that decision. If it's not, that decision should be equally valid and valued. Um, so, yeah, it's got there's a balance in talking about these things.
So I agree with you, and I've done the same. But when I was raising them and they were little, I always thought, oh, I'll be okay because when they have children someday, in my mind at that time, I can't wait to be a grandmother. I'll get to do this again. Watching Caillou, of all things, if you know what that is, it's a cute cartoon when they were little.
No,
It was all about a grandmother and her bald grand Canadian son. And it was so cute. And I always thought, I want to be a grandmother.
yeah.
But then as they got older, the truth is, I always look at them and say, should you choose to get married? Should you choose to have children? Because really, I feel the same. It's not about me. It's not about my life. It's not about my want of a grandchild. It's whatever makes them happy. I support it 100%.
And that's the beautiful thing too with family. I know you're an only child, so it's slightly different, but um, if a person has these desires to be a grandmother figure, it doesn't have to be your own child's child. You can do that with your family, your extended family, your friends. So when there is a baby in someone's life, you can offer yourself and love that
Right.
child like a grandchild. Um, it's a nice thing. So if you have that in you, great. If you don't,
Yep.
that's great too. You don't have to
Yep.
feel those things. If you don't have the feels, then you don't have to do it.
Yep. I
Yeah.
agree.
All right. So are you ever going to get married again? Do you believe in marriage for yourself?
No, I don't know that I can't say I will never get married, but what this taught me was because when I, like you, took that vow that first time, I really thought I would die with that vow. And what it has taught me is that vow doesn't make me any more loyal, more faithful, more committed. All it did was make it very complicated when I
Yeah.
knew it
Yeah.
didn't work out. So I'm very reluctant to ever even think about it. It'll be you know, as per year goes by or the need or necessity or want. I don't know. But I can't say that I'm all over marriage. No.
And I would also say, I like that you said, I will never say never, because you know what? When you
Yeah,
do say never, that's when those
it
things happen.
happens.
Thanks for listening. Now let's pack up this week's episode in the trunk.
Ride shotgun and be a part of our adventure by clicking on the plus sign to follow our show. This will help our ratings and, more importantly, inspire us to keep creating fun and engaging content. We would love to hear from you in the comments sections or email us at retiredpodcastnewtread@gmail.com. Use the fast track lane by sharing episodes with friends, family, and anyone who would like to join us on our road trip through retirement.
Be sure to check the show notes for links and contact information. Retired is chauffeured by Britz and Tina Lokkbakk. It is produced, directed, and edited by me, Britz. Music and graphics are by me too. Buckle up and tune in next week so that you won't miss your chance to
Join our retired road trip. That was good.
Do you think it's still legal? Is it still legal to like attach shoes or cans to the back of a car?
Oh, good.
I don't think so.